Hey, this is Christopher with another episode of What's Brewing, and today I'm here for part 2 of Cheyenne Forbes' interview, the manager at PJs and Broussard. Before we get into the interview, let's roll that beautiful B-roll. When we last left off on a cliffhanger, or a little bit of a cliffhanger. So how did the conversation go when your parents were like, hey, there's this thing. What was that like for you? Tell us how it happened. I think it's interesting.
So we own a business already, and my stepdad called me and he was like, I'm interested in buying a franchise. And I was like, okay, because we don't have enough to do,
Right.
Or why not?
Pour on more.
So I looked into a couple of different ones. We looked into some popcorn ones, edible arrangements, and coffee shops. Well, he started going to PJs and absolutely loved it. He was like, give me the information for that. And so I was like, okay. So I emailed him everything. Next thing I know, they're franchisees. And I'm like, awesome, this is great.
This went from research to like reality very quickly.
Very quickly. They became franchisees, which was great. I was so excited for them, and they were planning on opening locations and whatnot. And then I am sitting at work one day and they call me and they're like, hey, we're buying the Broussard store. Please put in your 2 weeks at your job. It's like, wait, back up a second. Like, you serious? Like, you're joking. Like, no, we're going to sign the paper soon. Like, you're going to be the manager.
Okay.
Awesome. So that's kind of how that went. They decided that we didn't have enough on our plate with one business, that we needed two.
Well, and that's exciting though. Like, it's exciting for you. I think, I won't speak for your parents, but I think it shows their trust and belief in you. Obviously, you're capable. They see it in you. They know that they're going to be there in the background supporting you, right? But my mom was an educator, so professionally I'm a trainer and engineer. I do technical things, but I'm thankful that I had a mom who taught in higher ed for years and years and years and years. And so I think a lot of her, obviously, literal DNA, but the cultural DNA of watching her teach and watching her develop definitely rubbed off on me, so that when I became a technical trainer, that was a very natural next step for me, well within my skill set. But that's partly because I had really a good family environment where that was passed on to me, by observation. And I actually had my mom as a teacher, so it was one of the cool things where my mom was a teacher for one of my literature classes. But I think that's what it is, that they just believe in you, they think that you and know that you can do it, and that you'll grow into it, as we all do.
Yeah, and I grew up in that environment, not necessarily that I was doing what they do at the sign shop, but it's like I was so used to it and used to customers and interacting with customers and just the background of how a business runs. My stepdad's favorite saying is, you got to spend money to make money. Yep. And he's super excited about PJs, and he's super excited about how loving the whole community is. So not only our location, but other locations, bouncing ideas off of each other. He's so excited, and he tells me every day, he's like, you got this, you can do this, I'm so proud of you. And it makes me feel so much better, especially for how scared I was, and also how I found out that this is going to be my day-to-day job.
Well, and you need that support system, and I think that's really cool to hear, So one of the things that I was thinking about, is that idea of just support. One of the things that we've discovered after doing this series, the reason we do it is to support local business. I think that's interesting to hear. A lot of folks, when they see the sign, right, they think it's just a big franchise, but we want to emphasize this is y'all's business. You're taking their brand and their product, but ultimately this is a locally owned business at the end of the day. People from here, people for here. And I think we lose that sometimes when we shop. Obviously, PJ's got an incredible brand. They've done all the hard work of figuring out how the coffee's made and all the portions and the marketing. They've done a lot of that for you. But really, when you go to PJ's and Broussard, you are supporting someone who is in Broussard. Yeah, I think that's important. A lot of folks may not watch this or may not realize that when they watch this, that's really what's happening. That's why we got into this. And more importantly, supporting a business that is, again, supporting the community. We always say with our business that we support you as you support us. Obviously, people pay us to do consulting, but we're also helping them. And I think that's one of the things I love about Broussard is that it's a very welcoming community. Every business from Fizzo's to Catherine Gray's to Norbert's, they're all in this community and have said just time after time after time how great the customers are. And that's why I think I love living here, but I also love doing business here because of the people here. And that's exciting to me. That gets me up in the morning, that keeps me going. And I love being in business in Broussard and supporting business in Broussard because I know it's helping my community be the kind of place it is to live. I think that's fantastic. So you've got a reopening coming up.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So our 1-year anniversary for the opening of this location is in March, and so we're going to do our re-grand opening as us as the new owners, and we're going to do that on March 18th, which is a Friday. We're going to have big tent set up, free samples, lots of pastries, and hopefully the community can come out and support us as we are new to this community of business.
Well, that's exciting. We were here for the first grand opening. We're pretty pumped to be there. We will be here for the grand reopening, right? Your anniversary. We're super pumped. So for those of you who are watching, I would encourage you, take a moment, stop by, buy a cup of coffee. I know that the mayor and the fire chief have some scheduled times where they do meet and greets with the community here. Perfect opportunity to come get yourself a cup of coffee. The mayor's awesome, so is the fire chief and the police chief. They're all the chiefs. They're great. I've met them. They're good people. They're cool to hang out with. Come and support PJs. So, Sheyanne, tell me, if you were to think, I know it's probably hard to narrow it down to one, but if you're, if someone's watching and they're like, I don't know, why should I come here? What would be the reason that you think someone might want to come and visit or shop here versus, not that we're against any other coffee places. We love coffee, but why come here? What's the experience that they're going to get, or what's the product that they're going to get that you think would just sell them on at least trying it for the first time?
So PJ's brand, they like to pride themselves on that all of our coffee is small batch roasted. So we have a special roasting facility in New Orleans that all of our beans come from. They're all hand-picked beans personally by PJ's. And so that's what makes our coffee special, is that they're 100% Arabic beans and that it's small batch roasted. And that keeps us kind of special to us. And I think that's my favorite part about PJ's, is how, we're trying to keep it not necessarily local, but local to New Orleans,
Louisiana.
And the Louisiana. And so
it's a Louisiana flavor. So I would say, if I were visiting, because I don't want to say I'm a connoisseur or a snob, I'm getting there. I'm slowly. Coffee's always been a utility for me, right? It's been a means to an end. I am tired. I need to wake up. This is what helps me get from A to B, right? It's like gas. Like regular is good enough. Does it start my car? Now, once you start, learning how gas works, and you maybe buy the premium every now and then to better optimize your engine. Don't comment below if I just said some inaccurate things for those car buffs out there. Someone will comment, well, actually. My point is, for me, it's just utility. But once you start drinking coffee and you start to get the flavors, that's when you begin to notice some of those things. And so I think when you sit down in a place like this, get different coffees, right? Try different ones, because each one will have unique flavors and accents. I recently did what's called a brew trilogy at another coffee shop, and it was eye-opening. And I'm at a point now where I'm more interested in that, right? Again, if you're just looking for a fun, flavorful drink, this will do it. But if you're looking for a deeper experience, this will also do it, right? Because it's the flavor of Louisiana.
Yeah, every day our hot drip coffee is a different flavor that we provide. We do a different medium roast every day and a different dark roast every day that have different, boldness and different flavors. Some have a nutty, some have a spicy, some are floral, and a lot of the coffee connoisseurs, come in for that because of the difference in the coffee. We don't do the same, roast every day.
And I think that's important because, when you're in the coffee business, not that I'm in it, but I frequent coffee shops enough and have enough friends doing it now, that's one of the things. Everyone who comes here is going to come with probably a different expectation. For me, the coffee sometimes is a backdrop, believe it or not, to the build-out. I grew up coming to Acadiana, specifically from Ville-Platte, Louisiana, back when there was not high-speed internet. I would go to Cece's Coffee House. Right? This is not sponsored by Cece. But I would go to Cece's Coffee House because that was the big brand. And I would go there and I would get the free Wi-Fi. This is back when wireless didn't have even passwords on it. You just connected. It's crazy how far we've come. And I would go, and what I loved about CC's was their big open space, but they would strategically put all these kind of objects where you felt like you were in a room full of people, but also in your own little space. So for me, that is where from a coffee shop was like a clean, well-lighted place. This place that you can come, you can enjoy, you could sit down, you could be around people. Obviously, with everything going on right now, maybe you don't want to be around people. That's the opposite of what you're doing. But back then, 15 years ago, that's what I looked for. And this build out to me is one of those places. And I'm sure not every build out will be as big, right? You can have very intimate spaces without having a big environment. I think that's one of the things that I look for. This place for me is one of my favorite, and I'll say this, anyone else I do interviews with in the future, this is one of my favorite spaces, and I don't mind saying that. But also, some may be coming for the coffee itself. Some may want easy, fluffy drinks. That was me for years. I thought Circle K cappuccinos were high-end coffee when I was younger. That's how I got started. Don't judge me, right? Love Circle K cappuccinos. Can't drink them anymore because sugar and I'm a diabetic. But that was it. And eventually my tastes have evolved to where I don't even really put as much sugar in my coffee anymore. So I love the fact that PJs can really appeal to many audiences, whether it be a place that you're coming to do your meetings at, or maybe you're a college student looking for a place to study in, or maybe you're just someone who's got to get a coffee on the go, or maybe you're someone who's more of a connoisseur. I'm getting there. Not quite there, but I'm getting more to, I notice that stuff more now. And I think that's why, if I were to give a reason, it has a broad appeal. No matter kind of why you're coming in, I think you'll probably find that something here connects with you. And to me, your team has been very friendly. Our first interaction with them was very, I think, affable. It was fun, not laughable, but affable. It was easy. Y'all are easygoing, very friendly. And that, to me, as a business owner, is the scariest thing about owning a business is, what's the interaction going to be like between an employee and a customer? And because you can lose it all there. You got the best coffee in the world. You got the best build out. But if the customer service isn't there, people are going to tap, right? They'll be forgiving for a lot of things if the customer service is right. And I feel like you've got a great team.
Well, it's great to hear. I mean, I love my team, and they're very great and working with me. And you would always hope, as a business owner, like you said, that your team would be that way. And it's great to hear it from someone else, because I see that side of them. But when I'm not here, it's great to hear that other people see that side of them.
The old saying is this: who you really are is when no one else is looking, right? And that's when the true, I think, character of your staff come out. It's that when you're not present. As a consultant, I'm not on site with my guys and gals who are out there working with customers. And it's so exciting to know that they're doing good stuff when I'm not there. And I think that's one of the things, if you're going to visit PJs, if you're going to come in here, you're going to have a great experience. And I would say you seem like an open enough person where if they didn't have a great experience, that you are willing to say, hey, tell me, right? Just give us that feedback.
Absolutely.
Right?
That negative and positive feedback is good, so that we can work and be better to where we're more inviting and everything. We want people to come here. We don't want them to be disappointed with any form of, their experience.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I think it's going to be great. But you've heard it here first. They want to hear the good, bad, and the ugly. You only get better when you communicate. And I think that's part of what a community does, is we work together to make each other better. And I think that's what's going to happen for you in Broussard. Well, Sheyanne, thank you so much for sitting down. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was really great. Well, that wraps up part 2 of our interview here at PJs and Broussard. If you haven't checked them out, we'll put a link in the description below with all the social media information, so you can find them on Facebook, get their address, and come get yourself a cup of coffee. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Hit that notification bell to stay up to date with everything we're producing. As always, we hope you're doing well. We hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you in the next one.